For music fans and DJs, the job of a music supervisor must seem like a dream come true. But a lot of the top supervisors never imagined they'd end up in this profession. What do you think is the one area of expertise that most, in your past, before you became a music supervisor, that was most helpful in making that transition?
Well, mine is 100% working for a record producer named Bill Laswell. And I was fresh out of college, and I worked at Arista Records for a year, and I went downtown to work for Bill, and Bill let me run his company. I worked with Herbie Hancock and Parliament Funkadelic and Ornette Coleman and Pharoah Sanders, and all of a sudden I was producing, and organizing sessions. It really changed my life, and the journey is that when you're in the situation, you don't know what you're actually learning when you're there. When you move out of it, you're like, wow, I learned a lot there, mainly about art and about how records were made and the treatment of musicians and creating that whole path.
Frankie, what about you?
I'm very thankful I have a sociology degree.
Well, it's understanding people.
It's understanding people, and I feel like I use that aspect of my degree more than anything else in my job, that maneuvering through people's personalities and understanding why they're making the decisions that they're making, and I'm very, very thankful to have that in my background.
I would say radio. 10 years at KCRW was for me perfect, because I came in there as a frustrated writer and journalist and not wanting to express myself with the words anymore, and I got to dive into this incredible radio station's library and got a chance to share music with audiences and had to sit in for all sorts of different DJs of different genres, different styles. I listened to more music in that 10-year period than any human probably should. My brain just kept on filling and filling and filling, and you get to the point that you start to recognize in your own ignorant way the nuances of music and how it can communicate and what power it has.
Well, I've heard music supervisors described as the DJ of a movie or a show. What about you, Anton?
I came to work with Baz as a research assistant. I had an English literature background, so I'm very lucky. I find I probably draw on that, as much in my day-to-day work life, having read so many books and studied so many poems, plays, and understanding the architecture of story. Yeah. I think having a feel for story becomes such a big part of your workday every day. And on the music side, I was thrown in at the deep end by Baz on Romeo and Juliet, and because we were a tiny little band of pirates, sailing across the ocean, and I was very lucky. You learn more on the job, I think.
Oh yeah.
The first time.
I tripped and fell.
Yeah, I tripped and fell often.
Isn't that amazing? I just want to say that for me, it wasn't a job like, oh, that job exists and I'm going to go after it. I met Mark Roswell, who music supervised the Commitments, and then I met Ted Hope, who ran Good Machine, and said, come on in. And then it happened.
It's the irresponsibility of these people that we can thank our careers for.
For me, it was, I grew up doing musical theater. So it was definitely Rodgers and Hammerstein and performing and all those different things. And I loved the film. And I was really a boob tube kid. I would watch a lot of things on PBS when they were first using music and like the Great American Dream Machine and stuff to tell a story. And I just loved it. I started on the television show Fame as assistant music supervisor, where I had to tell the director that he couldn't put a string quartet back to back like a marching band because they had to see each other. And he got really annoyed. Oh, well, you're ruining my shot. Why do I have to do that? I said, I'm just saying, if you want it to be realistic, they have to look at each other. And then he said, oh, okay, we'll do that. And I said, man, if this is the level of the gig, because I kept telling people, I can't transpose music. I can't transpose music, but I know how to put on a show. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's not like that, you'll be fine. And then nobody hired me to do anything else.